Jujutsu Kaisen Phantom Parade is a game I honestly didn't intend to play as much as I have, but then I started getting into it, I started enjoying it, and the reason I didn't intend to play it that much is because it is a JP only game. We don't know if it's ever going to get a global release, and I don't want to get my hopes up and love a game that I literally don't want to spend money on. So yeah, it's tough for a gacha game. Like, I love spending money on gacha games, I love playing gacha games if I can read them in my own language and, you know, maximize the potential of the account, but other than that, it takes a long time to go through and translate everything and all that stuff. This website right here does make it a little bit easier. It will be linked in the description below, but yeah, I just really haven't done like a proper like sit down, read through the effects and look at the memories and stuff like that. I have recently gone and done that, and so now I'm going to go over it in a video with you guys, and I'm excited to be doing that for the first time here because I feel like this game does kind of deserve that. The characters, the residues or memory scenes, whatever you want to call them, these things right here are actually very, very good, well thought out, unique. There's a lot more to the game than you would initially think. The only thing the game really lacks, in my opinion, is kind of content, because once you've beaten the story mode and everything in the game, you start to lack things to do, and that makes it a little bit rough. But other than it being kind of empty, I suppose, there is a lot of good stuff about the game, and honestly a lot of room for improvement just to add things into the game. So I'm looking forward to where the game goes and seeing where it goes. I will continue playing it for a little bit, and so here we go. Let's talk about the characters that are meta. We'll talk about the scenes that are meta, and specifically I'm going to focus on 4 characters that I have right now on my free-to-play account, and I'm also going to focus on 4 memories that I think are really, really good. I'll call them memories, I'll call them residues, I'll call them scenes, whatever. That's whenever I say those words, I am talking about these things right here. Okay, so let's start with the characters. On my account right now, I have Nobara, I have Gojo, I have the principal technically, I haven't actually tried him though. I have Yuta, I have Megumi, I have Itadori, I have Inumaki, and I have Todo. I have a lot of actually SSR characters that are all pretty good, like S tier meta characters. I also have the Nanami, who is down here in A+ tier, and I have most of these other characters. I really have most characters in the game. I think the main one I'm missing right now is Geto. These 2 are free to play, so if you get them from the shop, you'll eventually be able to get them. But yeah, I have a lot of the kind of meta characters, and so the ones that I found a lot of success with so far have been Kugisaki, who is an insane damage dealer, like honestly one of the best damage dealers in the game. I have used Gojo, who is also a very good damage dealer, a very good tank as well. I also have Yuta. I also have Megumi, who has just surprised the crap out of me. He is so good. And then Itadori is just really versatile. Todo's cool for his counter, you know. I haven't gotten to use him as much, so I can't really give a great opinion on him so far. But the characters I'm going to be focusing on today are Kugisaki, Gojo, Yuta, Fushiguro, and Itadori. So I guess 5 characters. Okay, so let's start with Kugisaki here. And on this website, this is all translated. It's a JP website, so keep that in mind. Will be linked in the description once again. If we scroll down, you can see she's double S tier. And then it tells you kind of why she's double S tier, and it gives you evaluation points for anyone can vote for this, right? And overall, people have been giving her like 10 out of 10 for the most part, and her overall average is 9.7. So she's very, very, very good. Okay, so she has a powerful skill that is used after granting a nail count to the opponent. Depending on the number of nail counts, it can produce top class high firepower. In addition, by granting a nail count to the number of enemies, doubles it. It is possible to shoot a special skill at all enemies that have a nail count. So basically, what this is saying, because the translations are kind of weird, is that you put a nail count on enemies, and depending on the nail count, if everybody on the enemy team has a nail count, you can target multiple enemies, or you could just target one enemy. It just depends. So it's a special skill that could be a single target or a multi-target, which is pretty cool. Okay, and then as we go down here, it says just a bunch of stuff about her that's kind of like not really super important, and it's not translated well. I'm going to skip over that. It's not very good. But then down here, we got her skills, okay, and skill priority. So you want to upgrade her deadly skill or her ultimate first. It is going to maximize the damage. Then you want to do skill 1, then you want to do skill 2, then you want to do skill 3, and that's all this really says right here. And then in terms of what her skills do, her skill 1, 99.9% of damage of ranged attack technique, 3 hits in total on the selected enemy, and nail count plus 3. So the more nail counts you get on the opponent, the more damage you'll do with your ultimate, which is good. And then for skill 2, gives yourself a 35% increase in jutsu, which means your meter goes up faster for using your ultimate, I believe. And then for skill 3, 200% damage to the selected enemy. The lower the percentage of your HP, the higher the effect size, which is really cool. And then last but not least, her special move, nail count +3 granted to selected enemies for 3 turns. Ranged attack technique, 225% damage to enemies with nail counts. The more nail counts the enemy has, the higher the effect size. And nail count release. I believe this means it removes them, but I'm not 100% sure on that. And then down here you have her coordinated special attack, where she just restores part of the special gauge of whoever they're linked with. So that's not too important, doesn't do that much. Auto skill. For me to be me, at the start of battle, you will be given a small increase in your heart rate. I forget exactly what heart rate does. If we see it somewhere along here, I'll explain it. Otherwise, I'll probably have to go back and do a separate video for that at some point. But those are kind of Kugisaki skills, where she ranks on the tier list currently. Next, we have Gojo. So let's take a look at him. He is also a double S tier character, right? And so people give him a 9.7 as well on average. So he is the strongest attack with high stats and powerful skills. All skills have a spell power consumption of 1, meaning low effort, and then so you can use the skill every turn. In terms of durability, the auto skill no lower limit Jujutsu does not take damage and does not inflict status ailments during battle, okay? Very insane, meaning he doesn't take damage and he can't take status ailments. He just is invincible. However, the mother goes away after 7 turns and it counts as a death. So you have to win the battle within 7 turns, okay? You have to be really, really careful with how you use him, where you use him, and when you use him, okay? And then if we go down here, we'll take a look at his skills. So for skills on Gojo, it also recommends the memories you can use. We'll talk about those here in a minute. But Gojo, you want to prioritize his ultimate, then you want to prioritize skill 3, then skill 1, then skill 2. Skill 2, really, I hardly ever use skill 2, so keep that in mind. And then for skill 1, what it's going to do is it's a ranged attack technique, damage to selected enemies for 275% damage, which is pretty good. At level 10, it's 458%, which is insane. Like, it's a massive up going from level 1 to level 10. And then on skill 2, 200% damage to the selected enemy in melee attacks, and the level up information below. And at level 10, you have 333%. That's why it's actually better to upgrade this skill before you upgrade this skill in terms of damage. And then on skill 3, inflicts a 75% increase in damage dealt to yourself, which is nuts on Gojo. A 75% for 3 turns, really, really good. And it at level 10, 124% damage boost. That's freaking nuts, right? Do this right before his deadly skill. Holy crap. And then his deadly skill is a ranged AoE attack. Attack damage to all enemies by 525%. Add that additional just even 75%, 600%. Really, really good. And then technique damage increased by 58.2% with each level up. So at level 10, yo, 1049% to all enemies. Gojo is freaking broken, am I right? And then down here, I'm going to kind of skip over the coordination skill effects because those aren't super crazy. Auto skills, urgent business, so annoying. Grant yourself an emergency at the start of battle. You have 7 turns. He leaves after 7 turns, guys. That's not a good thing. And then no lower limit Jujutsu. At the start of the battle, you will be given an attack nullifier. So literally attacks just don't hurt him, which is why you're going to want to run one of these memories on him potentially that lets him draw aggro of all the attacks. Like, he is insanely good. There is a memory that does that. So that is really, really good on Gojo. Okay, so that's Gojo. Now let's take a look at Yuta. Yuta is a recently released character who I would argue is also really, really insane in my opinion. And so overall, he gets a 9.8, actually better than the last 2 out of 10. And so his special move deals more than 1000% damage to the entire enemy. In addition, there is also the effect of the auto skill Don't Bully Yuta, and the attack performance is highly evaluated. He also has a reversal technique that restores allies with low HP with auto skills, so he is highly regarded as a support character, but also probably like one of the best attack characters in the game. He's absolutely insane. They give you party builds on this website as well, so you can see different potential party builds you can run with these characters and stuff like that. I'm not going to go over that too much here. Maybe in the future I'll go over stuff like that. And then we got his memories and stuff right there. We could be looking at those all day, but in terms of skills and skill enhancement priority, once again, the Deadly is the one you want to upgrade the most and first, and that's how it is for most characters. But then these other skills switch around. So this one you actually want to do skill 3 first, because it actually hits just so freaking hard. It's so good. Then you want to do skill 2, then you want to do skill 1. All of Yuta's skills I think are insane. They're really, really good. So the special attack Pure Love has a large amount of damage at level 1 with a technique of 1000% or more, and the amount of damage increase in the technique when strengthening it is also high. In addition, skill 3 Rika Amuro is also recommended because of the amount of damage. Yeah, absolutely insane amount of damage. Okay, so skill 1 with a curse, 120% of damage of melee attacks on selected enemies. At level 10 it's 180%. It's not that great. It's okay. That's like the worst part of his whole kit. And then for skill 2, this is a multi-target attack, 90% of damage to all enemies and small resistance down, instantly kills enemies according to their own technique value and the remaining HP of the targets, invalid for some targets, okay? And at level 10, damage increases to 135%, okay, which is really, really insane, okay? So he's pretty good overall for that skill. And then for his third skill, Rika Amuro, combined damage of 80% melee taijutsu, 110% jutsu, 100% taijutsu, and 150% jutsu. 4 hits in total for melee attacks on the selected enemy. Like, I'm not kidding when I say this hits so freaking hard. And then of course at level 10 you just increase the percentages to 137, 189, 172, 258. Like this is such an insane skill. It's absolutely crazy, okay? And then for the deadly skill or special skill, it's Pure Love. 1000% of damage at level 1 of ranged attack technique to the entire enemy team. Special gauge increase. Disable granted to himself for 4 turns, so he can't increase his own special. 20% increase in body technique, and 20% increase in technique in exchange for that for 4 turns, okay, which is pretty good. And then at level 10, he is now at pretty much 2000% almost damage to the entire enemy team with a ranged attack technique, and a special gauge increase is disabled for 4 turns. And then 20% boost still for this. So, but that 2000% damage, bro, that's so nuts. A high firepower overall move with a multiplier of 10% at level 1999. There is a disadvantage that you cannot use your special attack continuously, but your stats will increase and you can increase the damage of normal skills, which is a fact. So yeah, it's a trade-off, but it's nuts, okay? And then for the auto skills, I won't let you die. At the start of a turn, if HP of allies who do not include yourself is 60% or less, only 3 times during the battle, granted, activated when the spell power is 10 or more, 25% HP recovery for all allies except yourself. Small damage against ghosts, 10. Spell damage to yourself, 10% increase in body jutsu, and 10% increase in jutsu and special gauge, 200 recovery. And then Don't Bully Yuta, this is what makes him even more insane. Enemies that melee attack you have a certain chance of dealing with 120% damage from melee techniques. In other words, a counter. So my guy has a counter. He has healing. He has one of the best ultimates in the game. He is just, broken is the only word I can use to describe Yuta. Like, he is so very good. He is really, really good. So that's Yuta. Absolutely nuts. Okay. And then let's talk about Megumi, who they just introduced to the game. I really, really like this Megumi. Oops, I guess I need to translate it here. It didn't translate automatically. So go ahead and translate. All right, so Megumi is S+. He's really close to SS, 9.1 rating, I guess some people don't like certain things about him. But Incomplete Region Fushiguro activates area expansion with a special move and can deal 980% of damage at level 1. In addition, the entire enemy is given a damper down and a damper up, a versatile character who can deal damage and support abilities that grant abilities. So basically he's going to make the enemies like take more damage, I think, if I remember right, and lower their damage that they do. And he also does a massive amount of damage himself, and then his skills transform and make him do more damage. So he's pretty crazy. He works well with these guys, works well with these guys. Okay. As we go down here, those are the memories kind of that work well with him. And then for skills, skill priority. So skill priority you want to do is deadly. Then you actually want to do number 1, then number 3, then number 2. Prioritize the enhancement of the Mated Dark Guardian, which is his deadly, an area deployment that disables attacks and changes skills to more powerful content. The runner-up is the skill 1 buff, which has a high damage boost during area expansion. Okay, so this one's kind of interesting because you have the normal skill and then you have the skill expansion skill. So we have the melee attack, physical technique, 120% of damage to the enemy, and then after using his special, medium damage increased by 75%, so added to the 120% for 3 turns, and then melee attack damage, 200% damage. So just overall more damage, okay? And then for skill 2, 130% damage melee attack taijutsu, 2 hits in total to the entire enemy team. After Mated Dark Guardian becomes 140% of damage to the entire enemy team, okay? So that one's why you're not upgrading that one the most, because it doesn't make a big difference. But then for skill 3, why you're upgrading this one, melee attack, body technique 170%, technique 120%, combined damage and body technique cover 20% increase. And then for after Dark Garden, medium melee attack, body technique 300%, 150%, and then range technique 150%, useless body technique cover 60%, okay? And stun grants, okay? Just a lot of I believe those are buffs. I don't know if they're just for him or for the team. I wish the translation was a little bit better, but overall just good support for the team, right? So that's kind of what this skill is right here, as well as doing damage. And then on the special skill Mating Dark Garden, area expansion for 4 turns, so your extra damage skills last for 4 turns after using this. Disables attack on yourself and disables special gauge increase and end of effect spell power 0, and grants spell power consumption efficiency increase 980% of the selected enemy. So meaning it takes more for the enemy to use spell powers because it's 980% increase on the enemy, so they can't do as much. Damage and stun. 1 turn probability 100% to stun, I believe. Inflicts 35% damage down on the entire enemy team, so they do less damage, and increases damage taken by 45% from your entire team, which is insane, and then changes some of your own skills. So really, really good. And then of course at level 10, all that increases. So yeah, insanely good. No auto skills for Megumi, so that's kind of interesting that he's our first character without auto skills, but really, he doesn't need them. He really doesn't need them, okay? And then after Megumi, the last character I want to talk about was Itadori. Okay, so Itadori is a character that a lot of people are going to be pulling for, which is why I want to talk about him. Even though he's not super meta, I think he's very versatile as a tank, as a damage dealer. Like, he's just an all-around good character, right? So Itadori has a powerful special skill, Black Flash. After using extreme concentration multiple times, it is recommended to equip the remnants of reminiscence of the physical art up. He also possesses poison and soul damage resistance, as well as one-of-a-kind auto skill. Okay, so that all makes him very good. 9.5 out of 10 rating. And so if we go down here, you can see teams that he works well with. There's one. And you can also see memories that work well with him. Okay. Now, if we look at his skills here, for priority, you actually want to upgrade his skill 2 first, and you want to be using that as often as you can, essentially to power up his Black Flash. Then you want to do his deadly, then you want to do his skill 3, then you want to do his skill 1, okay? So by strengthening skill 2, extreme concentration, you can increase your heart rate and Black Flash and increase the amount of special gauge recovery. Skill 3, triple kick, can reduce the enemy's resistance to the heart, and it is effective when strengthened in combination with extreme concentration. Okay, so extreme concentration, upgrade that first. For skill 1, to 100% damage to melee attacks on selected enemies. Not anything too crazy, it's just a hit, essentially. Skill 2, grant yourself a heart rate large increase, Black Flash, medium chance, up for 3 turns, and restore. So you can stack the Black Flash, right? Special kill gauge to 150, effect size large, and effect size of Black Flash increase for each level up. Increases the amount of recovery of the special gauge by 10. So not bad at all. That's a really good skill. And then for skill 3, 200% of damage of melee attack, 4 hits in total on the selected enemy, and medium resistance, medium down for 2 turns. Effect size, oh, why is it scrolling? Effect size of 16, physical damage and heart resistance down. So obviously that one's pretty good. It's a multi-hit attack. It is still single target though. And then for his special move Black Flash, 450% of damage of melee attacks on selected enemies. Physical damage increased by 49.8% with each level up. At level 10, it's 899%. He can hit fairly hard with his Black Flash. So overall, he's just a good tank, good damage, a really solid, like I would say versatile all-around character. And that's why I like Itadori and using him on my team personally, okay? Now, besides this list right here, we need to talk about like what memories you want to potentially be equipping to these characters. So obviously you can go in and you can see which memories it recommends. I have already kind of picked some memories that I think are good just in general. So let me talk about all the potentially like, I would say good memories that I would potentially be equipping to not just these characters, but any characters on this list that you might have. So if we go over here, you can see there is a tier list of the different memories or residues as they call them, for which ones are the best and which ones are the worst, which are down here. And there's actually quite a few SR memories that have made their way up. Now, the first one I want to start with is actually an A+ memory, even though it's not up here in SS tier. It's really good for Nobara Kugisaki. So if we go and scroll down, you'll find what it does. It's kind of weird, once again, the layout with where it is. A+. It has a rating of 9.1, so it's actually pretty highly rated. Okay, so how to use blah blah blah. Inflicts damage down to all allies for 2 turns. All allies are dealt 10% less damage. The lower your HP, the higher the effect size. Okay, so this is good for Kugisaki, because it's going to help her stay alive, because she is kind of squishy even though she does a lot of damage. So I've run this memory on her. And then at the start of battle, you will be given a resurrection state, powerful when equipped on an attraction character. Okay, so this is really good for Kugisaki because it'll give her a chance to revive. Powerful when equipped on an attraction character, what that's talking about is like a character who draws aggro. It's good for them. So you could equip that to them, and then they have a chance to revive after they die and like tank all the damage, right? But it also works pretty well on Kugisaki. So I'd run it on her just because she is so squishy, and it gives you more chances to utilize her damage. So that is actually a pretty good memory if I'm understanding it correctly. Once again, this is all based on my own understanding, so I could be wrong about any of this, so keep that in mind here as we go through this. Okay, the next memory I want to talk about is this one right here. This is like the #1 goated memory right now, according to JP players, from my understanding. This is the memory you want to get and the memory you want to work on. It's really, really good, apparently. So as we scroll down here, we'll see what the rating is. 9.7. People really like this memory. Okay, so what does it do? One of the strongest 2 of them is that they have a high amount of jutsu increase for 2 consecutive turns. It can only be used with special moves, so it can deal damage on the turn after the special kill. And then it is easy to accumulate special gauges. At the start of the battle, the amount of special gauge is increased by 20%. It is easy to accumulate a special kill gauge, so I want to give priority to characters with strong special skills. So it has a high multiplier for spell power, and it gives you a special gauge quicker, which is pretty good. Okay, so that's why people like this one. It's a really, really good card. And when I say it increases your damage, it increases your damage by a lot. Like, I have seen some clips where people are hitting over 1,000,000 damage. Like, it's really that good. It's insanely good. Okay, and then besides that, this is another memory I am running currently, and I think is pretty good, and that is the adult time. And so if we go down here and look at what adult time does, it has a rating of 9.6, so pretty close to the other one. And for this one, give yourself a do-up. When a command skill or special skill is activated, it inflicts a 1-turn increase in damage dealt to itself. It is also excellent that the multiplier of the give and fail up is as high as a 70% in the initial stage. I don't know what that means, but basically gives you more damage on your special skill. And then for this next part, grant an increase in the centricity rate to all allies. When you generate a heart of your own, you will grant a small increase in your heart rate to all allies for 2 turns. It is recommended to equip it on characters such as Nanami, who are prone to Kaishin generation. Okay, I don't know what heart rate is exactly. I forget. Like, I knew what it was like 2 days ago, but I would have to look it up. If you know what heart rate is, drop it in the comments so everybody knows what you're increasing. I think it's like an increase in damage or something like that. It's some sort of increase. I don't know what heart rate does exactly, but it does something. Okay, so if you know what it is in the comments, drop it. I'm just not sure. I don't remember exactly what it was, but yeah, really good memory that you could be running. And then besides that one, they're like, this one's insanely good. This one's a free to play one you can get that's really good. There was one in particular that I was looking at that I really liked. I like this one. This one's pretty good. This one was a free to play memory. It's pretty good. This one I think was one of the ones I used for a long time. It's pretty decent, easily obtainable. And so what this one does, 9.4, if you scroll down, when the command skill is generated, it grants itself 3 turns of physical and jutsu up. It goes well with attackers like Nobara, who use physical techniques. Okay, so, or it goes well with like Itadori, so it could work well on either of them. It's really good. And then at the beginning of the battle, inflict damage increase on yourself. It goes well with attackers, so just adds more damage, and that's going to be the majority for the majority of these cards here. The good ones are going to be ones that add damage overall. So kind of look at this website. It'll be in the description. Look at the cards. Try to figure out which cards are going to help you do a lot of damage, and you're all of a sudden going to be able to clear content that you might not have been able to clear in the past. Anyways, that is it for this video. Those are kind of the characters and cards I wanted to go over with you guys. Some things that I think can help you out a little bit, characters you want to be focusing on, cards you want to be focusing on getting, upgrading, leveling up, stuff like that. And I am going to show you guys now my own team, and we'll see how well it does. Alright, so we are going to be taking on the extreme stage here. As you can see, I have already cleared it, gotten all the rewards that I needed to get. I'm going to be running this team right here. We're running Gojo on a main slot. I might regret that. We'll see. I think I can use him to basically just tank for my team, though, with this memory, if I remember correctly. And so hopefully that'll work out for us. Yeah, let's go ahead and get into this. I'm running a lot of the memories that I showed you guys, a lot of the characters I showed you guys. So hopefully we can beat this if we do it correctly. You do have to pay attention to when you're using your memories and stuff like that. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and skip this. Alright, I'm going to go after the middle guy first. Why not? It doesn't really matter who I go after. Okay, so we'll do that. We want to save Megumi's for his special skill. We'll go ahead and do this because it applies Resurrection to her, which can be useful. We'll do this there. And then we're going to go ahead and save Yuta's as well for damage purposes. So we'll go like this. And then with Gojo, I think this will make him draw aggro, if I remember right, on the scene that I have on him, the memory I have on him. So hopefully that'll work. Alright, they should be forced to attack Gojo here. Alright, it seems like they did, so that worked out for us. How long does that last? I don't even know. Okay, but yeah, you can see the buffs down there. Alright, let's go ahead, and we want to keep targeting this guy, so we're going to go like this, and we're going to go like this, and then we're going to go like that, like that. Okay. Good damage. Really good damage from everyone. Gojo is mainly here for tanking purposes. Ironically, he's not here for the damage this time. We're going to go ahead and we're going to use skill 1. Let's go ahead and use the... Well, actually, let's just keep going after one guy. If we have one guy to contend with, it makes it easier for us, right? Okay, and then we want to... Let's go ahead and increase damage with Gojo at this point. Alright, they go after Gojo. That's an attack all. We can't do anything about the attack alls, unfortunately, but we're okay. Get the heal from Yuta. Our first 2 characters can't use their skills. We'll go ahead and we'll do... yeah, let's do this time. We'll do this. And we'll do this. Okay. Got a break. Oh, of course, he went after Yuta. Unfortunate. Alright, well, at least we broke one of them. Okay, we're going to go ahead and we're going to do this with Megumi. We'll do this. Actually, he still has a nail stack. Let me go back on Kugisaki. Let's switch a nail stack over here. And then we'll go ahead and do this with Itadori. Power him up a little bit. And then... Ooh, do we want to use this yet? I think we don't. I think we want to wait. Actually, no, we can use it. We got a while till Megumi, and we don't want Gojo to go away before he uses it. So yeah, we have to use it there. Okay. Alright, Gojo should be able to do some damage here, hopefully. Okay, pretty good damage. Not terrible. Oh man, I thought they were going to kill Kugisaki right there. I was about to be so upset if they did. Okay, she's still alive. Unfortunately, Yuta died. That's just like the most tragic thing, right? Because he does a lot of damage. Or a lot of healing. We had a nail stacks. Are you serious? Okay. Let's go like that. Get the ultimate on 2 of them. Why not? We'll go ahead and we'll do this. Alright, and then we'll do that. Okay. As long as Megumi survives, we should be able to do pretty well here in the upcoming turn. Alright, so Megumi's fine. Beautiful. Now we get to use our area expansion. We want to make sure we use this now. It's going to increase our damage for this turn and next. We want to go ahead and use this to give her the resurrection. We're going to go ahead and actually let's wait on Itadori's. We'll go ahead and do this. And then we'll go ahead and do this with Gojo. Okay. Now Itadori has his special for next turn. He'll do more damage. Got the break on Toto. Yo, look at that damage though. Yo, okay, bye Gojo. Thanks for helping us out, my guy. Alright, now we're in our area expansion. Oh, it's about to go down. It is about to go down. Alright, she's gonna dodge because she's flying. I don't know how that's gonna work. Okay. Anyways, let's just let's see what happens. He should be dead. Okay, good. Nice. Look at Itadori go, bro. Okay, we're fine. We're fine. Let's go ahead and do this. We could increase our damage, but I'm gonna do that. We still have our buffs. Oop. Let's go ahead and... Did I not use that on that? I swear I used that. Maybe I'm tripping. Break her. Let's go, Itadori. Okay. Yeah, let's increase damage while she's broke. Buff ourselves. Right, we'll take the turn. Big. Okay, area expansion's gone. We're not going to do as much damage now, but that's okay. Because we have this and our nail stacks. And now we go ahead and we attack with Itadori. We should be able to win right here. Easily. Easily, right? So there we go. I did lose some characters along the way. But yeah, that's how you beat that. There's an example. I have obviously beaten it with the other stipulations achieved. So yeah, that wasn't necessarily the best run, but as you can see, the way you use the memories, the scenes, whatever you want to call them, does make a big difference. The way you use your characters makes a difference. Obviously, the memory I had on Gojo let him draw the aggro, so that was really nice because he just tanks all the aggro. However, when he disappears, if you don't clear this in 7 turns, that does kind of suck. So you could potentially put what I had on Gojo, like on Itadori, and then have Yuta heal Itadori, and it works out pretty well as well. But yeah, that's kind of the team that I've been using. It's been working pretty well for most content. Obviously, not everybody's going to have every meta character like I have. I got very lucky as a free-to-play player, but you know, hopefully this will help give you a basic understanding of the game if you do want to try it. In the link or in the description below, there will be a link to how to play the game and also a link to the website I used in this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace.